glad you all got the notice in time. We didn't send it out there till yesterday, so it's kind of a fast put together. But you know, when Liz comes up with a great tool, you don't wait around to send it out. So you guys are the lucky ones who get it first.
This is going to be a great tool for the people that are on here. I think people are going to be shocked at how helpful it is.
Absolutely. We've got more people who are calling in just teleconference, so I'll ask you to keep that in mind, Liz, and describe what people should be seeing on the screen at times so they can follow along pretty easily. We've got about half the folks joining by teleconference only.
Okay, I'm going to try. I'm so glad you told me about that.
It's a challenge, I know, since we design them for visual, but just trying to be helpful for the folks who've got on the line.
All right. Well, I've got 15 pages of material I'm going to be scrolling through, so I won't be able to read everything, but I'll try and give some basic understanding of what we're looking at.
That'll be fantastic. And since you do have, it's a pretty solid, comprehensive assessment, I'm actually going to ask you to go ahead and get started because we've got most of the folks who registered already with us.
All right. Sounds good. So we are doing a series of webinars, and they are all about different types of assessment for your businesses. And today, the one that we're going to be doing is sort of an overview assessment of where does your business sit? Where exactly are you today? I'm going to tell you a little bit about Cleaning Business Builders, and the three partners are Tom Stewart, Derek Christian, and myself. And this is Tom Stewart. A lot of you probably already know him. And this is just some facts about him. The thing that I think is very cool about Tom is he always does a little bit more than what other people are doing. So when you read about him, you'll see like SIM certified firm. A lot of people don't even know what a SIM certified firm is. I'm not going to talk about that today, but if you're intrigued, check it out. That's just one of the things that he always seems to do just a little bit bigger and a little bit better. Anybody that's been out to Castle Keepers has seen his 10,000 square foot building. Just one more example of how Tom does things a little bit bigger. So Derek also a leader in our industry because he always is just pushing forward, trying to make everything and everything he touches and every business he touches and all the people around him too better. A lot of people don't know this about Derek, but he's very concerned about the people that he works with. They think that he's just all numbers, all marketing, all about bringing in the business, but he's also very concerned about people. He also has a lot of accreditations that you can read about there. There's a picture of me. For those of you that don't know me, Liz Trotter. I own American Made Cleaning in Olympia, Washington. I am the newest member of our partnership, and I'm typically known as the people person. I focus on people more than the other pieces of our business. It's the part that is most interesting and fun to me, believe it or not. Most people think, what? Fun? How can the people part be fun? But that's the part I like. So just a few details for those of you that are on the phone. I'm sorry, I just remembered that. And I'm not allowed to scroll back, but hopefully I give you at least enough idea about who the people are without actually reading the slides to the detriment of the people that are actually looking at the slides. All right, so these three CEOs, Tom, Derek, and myself, this is just a little information. Oops, trying to get that little box out of my way, and I popped my screen off. There we go. We have these things, and I am going to read through the screen just because I think it's a lot of information, and I want to make sure that the people on the phone do hear about it. We have over $5 million in annual revenue just from our residential operations. Tom and Derek both do a lot of other stuff as far as commercial and painting, that kind of stuff, apartment stuff. I do some commercial, but it's light commercial. We also have 60 years of combined experience in the residential cleaning industry. So we've been in this business for a really long time. 3 IICRP certified firms. That means that we have actually done the work that it takes to get certified. We saw that all three of us have done at least some type of work on creating the HCT program. I helped with creating the test. The guys both helped with creating the book that is written for it and the program itself. So we've all had a good chunk of time and energy put into the HCT program. 2, ISSA Certified Industry Cleaning Experts, that's Tom and Derek, they're ICE. Solo and multi-person cleaning teams and procedures. The reason why I think this is interesting is we all three operate our businesses differently. Tom and I both have cars and run teams. Derek doesn't have teams, and his techs use their own cars. He's just recently opened a new location, and he's working with the team methodology and having cars. So he will be doing a little bit of both. But the thing that I think is cool about this is because we have lots of different ways of running our businesses, we all three do our businesses much, much different, that we have found what works in a lot of different ways. We don't believe that there is just one right way to run a maid service. We believe that there are a lot of ways to run a maid service and to run it well, not just to get by, but we really think there are a lot of ways to do it really, really well. And so in that one way, I think we're very unique. We have standard chemical and specialty green cleaning procedures, meaning that we do both. We know about green cleaning, all natural. Tom has an entire portion of his company that is called modern cleaning, where they clean with steam, etc. We also use chemicals. I use some of the harshest chemicals that are out there. A product called Shooter, a lot of people are afraid of. Yep, we have it. So we just have a lot of experience in this arena. Small, medium, and large market domination. I'm in a very small market. Tom's in a very large market, and Derek's in a medium-sized market. So we know a lot about how to get into the market that you're at and what it takes, because it is different in different markets. It's not the same. You can't take the advice about how to work in a large market and apply those same techniques to a small market. They won't work. We have different concerns in a small market, and vice versa with a large market. They don't need to worry about some of the stuff we need to worry about, and they have their whole other set of concerns. So we're very sensitive to that. We understand that very well. And then we have a ton of extra services, which I mentioned a little bit about earlier. All right, so I talked to you about, I said we're going to be doing an assessment, a series of assessments. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what they are and what's the purpose of them. So I'm going to read these. I'm not going to read them verbatim. I'm sorry for the people that are reading, but to make sure that I get the people that are on the phone only. So assessments are the tools that we use to measure our progress. If you don't do regular assessments, it's easy to fall into a trap of feeling like you're not getting anywhere. You don't even know that you're getting anywhere. Sometimes just tracking one thing, 6 months later, looking back on it, you're like, wow, I didn't even realize I'd done that, but I have. So it's a really great way to measure what you've done and to be able to move yourself forward even faster. They help us determine whether or not the goals are being met. In this case, I'm talking about the goals of education, because if you're in a program like one of our programs, specifically we'll be talking about our Foundations Business program in a little bit, or Foundations of Success, I'm sorry. It's a business program, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more later. But having an assessment is how we can figure out whether or not what we're doing is working. And the last line here is, assessment inspires us to ask these hard questions. Are we teaching what we think we're teaching? Are students learning what they're supposed to be learning? And is there a way to teach the subject better, thereby promoting better learning? So for us, having assessments really keeps us on track, makes sure that we're doing a good job. It's easy to just do it and think that you're doing a great job. But are you really? How do you know? You have to do the assessment to find out. You have to grade it. You have to be rigorous. So that's the point of them. So what can you learn? Well, you can learn, where are you now? Where do you want to be? You can learn from doing an assessment today about where you want to be in the future. We're going to go over some of these questions that are going to help you figure that out. You're going to be able to see, wow, I do have a better idea. Somebody might ask you, this used to happen to me a lot when I was very, very small, and I had like 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, and people would say to me, well, how much money do you want to earn in a year? Well, I just didn't even understand the question. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I don't know. How much can I make? I didn't even understand how to answer that question. Assessment is how you learn how to answer that question. You start looking at all the different pieces, and then you start understanding, oh, so this is where the potential might be for me. And so you start answering these questions. You can find out what you already know. That's great information. This is stuff I don't need to learn. I already know this. Yay! You can also find out what don't you know. How? I didn't even know that I didn't know this stuff. There is going to be some stuff that you don't know. And then what you still need to learn. That's different than what don't you know. Because some things you didn't even know that you knew, and now that you know them, you might need to learn them. Other things, you might not. They might not be part of what's important to you. And then where are the gaps? What are the gaps in what you know and what you don't know? What are those little things that are keeping you from getting where you want to go? Those are gaps. Those are gaps in your knowledge, gaps in the information that you have to work from. And where do you start? A lot of times that's some of the biggest problem is, where do I start? It's so big. It's so overwhelming. I don't even know how, what, So assessment can help you with that. All right, the webinar series that I've been talking about, this is the series itself. This is the cleaning service self-assessment. And I'm also telling you about all the rest of them. The next one will be DISC Leadership Behaviors and Motivators Assessment. If you haven't heard of the DISC assessment, just Google it, and you can get a ton of information that way. We're going to be going over it with you in detail on the next webinar. But to get an idea, this is a very, very well-known assessment tool that is used by very large businesses and small businesses and individuals as well. A lot of psychology people, I want to say people, but not people, businesses and industries will use this to help their people get an understanding of who they are. So this is really helpful for you to be able to figure out where you are coming from. Not you just in your business, but you in your life. Top 20 questions. What are your top 20 questions? Those are all going to be different. Your top 20 is going to be different than everybody else's top 20. We need to find out what those are, and we need to get them answered for you. Marketing program assessment. We want to talk about marketing programs. Yours, ours, what we recommend, some of the things that you may not have thought about. How do you get a marketing program? What does it consist of? What do you have right now? Do you think you have one, but you really don't? So we're going to be talking a lot about that. KPI and financial assessment. KPI just stands for Key Performance Indicators. Those are the numbers that you want to be watching in your business that tell you how you're doing. We're going to give you some ideas about those KPI and your money in general. Checking it out and seeing where are you now, where should you be, how are you going to get where you want to go, all those types of things. And then also is an operations assessment. Operations is just how do you run things? What are you doing right now? How are you running your business today? We're going to be, like I said, going into a little bit of detail on all of these assessments because we're doing an overview. But each one of these will have much more specific information and much more detailed help for you, so moving forward. Next steps. Complete and create a plan. Schedule follow-up to check your progress. So if you are not in our Foundations program currently, specifically the Foundations Jumpstart program, so I think there's at least one person on this call maybe. But if you're not, you want to, when this webinar is over, you're going to be receiving this entire assessment. Yay, I know you're all excited about that. You're going to be excited. If you aren't yet, it's a long assessment. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm telling you, if you complete this assessment and you create a plan for yourself based on the assessment that you fill out, and then check back in with yourself and set up a time frame. When are you going to check in? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year? Check back in. Check your progress. How are you doing? If you do that, you're going to find yourself growing much, much faster. We've all heard of the stories of the people that write down their goals, and that anybody that writes down their goals, they succeed at a much quicker rate. Here's a step for you. Here's a way to get started on doing that. A plan is just a plan to a goal. So get started. Now, if you are one of our Foundation's Jumpstart members, you're going to complete your assessment and you're going to turn it in to us at mail@greenbusinessbuilders.com if you're on the phone. Make sure that you attach the requested documents. We'll need that because obviously we're going over this assessment with you and helping you figure out exactly where you're going to be. If you have any additional questions or information, make sure that you add that to your assessment as well. The Foundations of Success model. This is a model of basically how we get our houses clean. This is what it takes. On the top line, you see we're talking about people. We have to recruit, we have to evaluate and hire technicians, train and lead them, drop them down into scheduling, dispatch them, and ta-da, we get some cleaning done. On the next line, marketing and advertising, going over to sales, customer relations, scheduling, dispatch, and cleaning. And on the bottom line, we have our equipment. We have to have equipment to be able to get your cleaning done. All of these processes are dealt with in the Foundations of Success model or in the program. And obviously, there's a lot of different stuff within this, but this is our basic model. It looks very, very simplistic, doesn't it? It's effectively so. To think that this business was going to just run itself. As a Foundations graduate, there are a lot of things that you're going to get, but we're not going to talk about this slide right now. I would like to pull up the assessment and show it to you. Let's see how I do that. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. All right, this is the actual assessment. Now, if you are a member of our Foundations Jumpstart program, then you'll see over here you have homework when it's due to get your assessment in, get it turned in. August 31st is when we'd like to see that. All right. Let's get down to the assessment. Brass tacks here. Not going to go over every single thing. It's just simply not possible. It is, I think, how many pages? 19 pages long. So we're not going to be able to go over everything, but there are a few key things I'm going to go over and make sure that you understand what they are. So business owner information has all your basic information, obviously. If this is for you, fill this out anyway. If you're not part of our Jumpstart program, don't think to yourself, oh, I don't have to fill this out. Do it. This will help you later if you ever decide that you are going to fill out paperwork for a loan. You'll have all of this information in one place. You can cut it and chop it, use just the top. Fill it out, have it all in one place. I recommend that you do a complete assessment on yourself. Doing the work, putting in the time, focusing on this information first before you start getting into the nitty-gritty of your business will prime your brain for the information that you're now going to have to pull from it because it's going to take a lot of work. Some of the stuff like spouse, partner, the names and numbers of your kids, the ages, we want this information because we want to know the whole picture. What somebody that is a single person that is 21 years old, just starting his business and has 2 employees in the Denver market, let's say, is going to be a way different plan than a 38-year-old woman who has 6 kids and her husband works part-time at the lumber mill. It's going to be way different. So we need to get this information from you, and you want to have this information too because you're going to be tracking some of this stuff. Now, did you start your business from scratch, or did you purchase it and get a set of clients? This question, for those of you that started your business from scratch, you might not know what this means, but some people bought their companies or bought their clients or maybe started as a franchise and then transitioned over, did something along those lines. So whatever it is, write that here. Go ahead and put in the details of that, how you started, What was the amount of your initial financial investment? We want to know how you started. Did you start with just a vacuum cleaner, 10 bucks? Or did you start with a $10,000 investment? What was it? And where did you put the money? We want to know what's important to you. If we know how you started your business, we will know, and you need to know this too, right? How did you start your business? What was important to you? How the money was allocated tells you a lot about your business, tells us a lot too. If you put money on day one into an office, your first company car, company uniforms, that's a way different plan than if you put your first money into a bottle of bleach, a sponge, a bucket, and a mop, and a vacuum cleaner. Or maybe you didn't even have a vacuum cleaner. Some people don't even start with any electronic tools at all. So that's what that's all about. What is your ratio of these things? Residential, commercial, vacation, carpet, whatever it is that you do. If you do something other than the top four, put it in there. What do you do? You're going to want this number later, and you want to be able to make changes and make decisions based on these numbers. If you're right now doing 80% residential, 20% or 19% commercial, 1% maybe carpet or something else, and the money is flowing in a certain way, you might realize, you know what, I'm making more money off of my residential portion of my company. I think I want to back this up a little bit. I think I want to change this to 70% residential and a little bit more commercial and start tracking numbers that way. So that's what we're looking for there. Do any of your family members besides you work in the company? If they do, let us know. What do they do? What are their roles? How often do they work? Give us all the details. Some of these lines look like there isn't room, but that's because these fields expand. So as you start typing, it will just build for you. So don't feel limited by the amount of space that you have. Also, if you see a lot of space, that's because we're expecting you to give us a lot of information. Now, a small line doesn't mean that we're not expecting that. It just means that we know we need to have it on the bigger section. So make sure that you try and give us as much information as you can. On this next line, do you have an exit plan? Some of you might not know what that is. An exit plan means how are you going to get out of your business? Have you ever even thought of that? Are you going to turn it over to your kids? Are you going to sell it? What exactly are you going to do? If you don't have one, just write in here, no exit plan. And it's good information for you, right? If you don't have an exit plan, right here might be the first thing that you notice. Never thought about that. Never thought about an exit plan. It's an important piece of running your business. How many hours a week do you spend in the office? How many hours a week do you spend in the field cleaning? What's your definition of success? What do you hope to gain from the Foundations of Success program? If you're in the program, we want you to fill this area in really, really well. Make sure that you let us know exactly what it is that you hope to gain. Because remember, we're assessing our work as well. These other areas, we want to know what you're doing right now. You need to know what you're doing right now too. Track these numbers. If you're thinking you already know this information, no. Write it down. Track it. You want to be seeing some of these numbers change, I'm guessing. If you're only working 5 hours in the office and you're spending 55 hours in the field cleaning, you might need to get some of those numbers changed around, but you have to track them today. If you don't track them today, you're not going to realize when you make the changes. Also, if you are in the program, how are you going to make time to complete the work? There's going to be a lot of work in this program. It's a year-long program, and it's going to take some time. So where are you going to find that time? What things are you going to stop doing, or how are you going to create time for yourself? Are you going to stop watching TV? Are you going to, what? What are you going to do? Where do you get support from? This is important. Put it down. You should know it. You should have an answer to this. If this question seems hard to you, I want you to think about that. This is a hard industry. It's not easy for us to get up and do what we have to do day after day, day in, day out. I know everybody says that their job is hard, but really, this job is hard, and you need to have support. Is it from your husband, from your wife, from your, do you have mentors? Where do you get your support? Are you members of any kind of programs, or maybe just even a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group? Who do you get your support from? Write that down. For your mentors, what do you read? How often? What you read tells a lot about you. How often you read? Same thing. You probably know you need to read more often. When I say here, what do you read and how often, it doesn't have to be in book form. Maybe you listen to books on tape. Maybe you listen to or read magazines. I don't know what you're reading. If you're not reading anything at all, you might want to think about that. How are you going to move forward? How are you going to learn the newest things? Maybe you're reading Cleaning Business Today, the online magazine. Great, put it in there. How often? You're reading it every time it comes out? You need to know what it is that is coming down the pike, and you can't learn that if you're not doing some sort of reading in some areas. All right, what do you do for fun? I know some people are thinking, what? Why is that in here? Because fun is important, right? When is your last vacation? More importantly, when is your next vacation? Do you have a plan for that? You need to have a plan, because this business can suck the life right out of you if you are not careful. And our hope is that everybody have a well-rounded life, a well-rounded existence, especially in our industry where it is so easy to just work like a dog all day long. Make sure that you have your next vacation planned. If you don't, if this question is hard for you to answer, think about that. Why? Why is it hard? It shouldn't be hard. You should have a vacation. Maybe it's 2 years out. I don't care. Maybe it's 3 years out. I don't care. Get that date in here. Put it on there. Write it down for your own benefit so that you can see, oh, I don't have work-life balance, or, oh, I do. Not only do I have my next vacation plan, but I have the next 3 vacation plans. Woo-hoo, good for you. And then finally in this section, what's your dream? What's your dream for your business? When you were starting this business and you were planning, what did you want? What were you hoping for? What is it that you see happening? In 10 years, what's your business going to look like? Remember, this field will expand as big as you want. Tell us your dream. And if you're not turning it into us, if you're not in our program, tell it in for yourself. Know what your dream is. Have something to work toward, to live into. Do it. Just write it down. You'll be amazed at how motivating writing this down is. If you don't do anything else, fill in this one spot. I beseech you. All right, part 1, the basics. These are the basic numbers that you probably have off the top of your head. You might not. I want to make sure that you understand what they all are. Years of business, number of clients, number of employees. It says in here FTE, so we would just want to know the full-time equivalent. So let's say you have 10 part-time people that all work like 4 hours or so. That would be 5 full-time equivalent people. So we're thinking like a 40-hour week, 35 to 40-hour work week. Think how they do it with Obama's plan here, the medical plan, how they figure out the FTE. Same thing. Number of office staff, how many do you have? Average number of jobs per week, your cost per job. This just means how much you, do you know this number? Do you know how much it costs you to go out and do a job? If you don't, write on here, I don't know. IDK. Anything you don't know, write IDK on there. What's your profit margin? You don't know? IDK. Yearly revenue, how much do you make? Most likely everybody will know this if you have any sort of a tracking program. I hope you know, because it's really hard to run your business without this. Your client attrition rate, your employee attrition rate, your average price per job, payroll percentage to sales. This is one of those numbers that you really need to have, and some people don't know what it is. It just means the percentage of money that you're paying out for payroll in contrast to, or in relation to, the amount of sales that you're bringing in the same time period. So in 2 weeks, you're bringing in how much money, and you're paying out how much money in payroll. Number is very important because payroll is the #1 expense we have in this industry. And then what's your pricing structure? Remember, these numbers will grow. So if you want to give us more information in any of these areas, fill it in. What you've done in Bradstreet number. Remember, if you don't know, IDK. Just write in there that you don't know. You're going to go back, hopefully, and look over all of the stuff that you don't know, and you're going to fill it in later. And you're going to realize, I probably should know this stuff. Should I or shouldn't I? Maybe I don't. Maybe once you figure out what it is, you realize you don't need it, but you don't know that until you know what it is. Are your taxes up to date? This is an important question. Most of the business owners that I talk to have at some point in time not been up to date on their taxes. Some of these questions here on this page, the money page, are hard for people to answer. I don't know why. They're the same as all the rest of the questions having to do with your business. They're how things run. They're just an indicator of how things are running. It's not something that you have to feel bad about, feel embarrassed about. It's the way it is. It's part of our industry that we have these issues at times, part of all industries. Startups are notorious for having a lot of these issues. If you're uncomfortable filling in any of this information and you're turning it in to us, go ahead and leave it blank. That's fine. We understand. But we totally recommend that you fill it in. Just the act of writing down the truth is a lot of times more freeing than you think it is. So some of these questions, when's the last time you missed a payroll tax deposit? It happens. When's the last time though? When's the last time you missed making payroll? Write it down. When's the last time you bounced a check? Checks bounce. I just bounced a check a few months ago, had a whole big problem on my account. It happens. When was the last time? You want to be able to track some of this stuff so that you can see when, so let's say the last time you missed making payroll was eight cleanings ago, right, or 8 paydays ago, and next time you do a follow-up, remember we said the next step is to do a follow-up on this, right? So let's say in 6 months when you do another follow-up, you realize, wow, I haven't missed payroll at all. How's that going to feel? How's that going to be as a goal to work into? So get these numbers down. Do you have credit card debt associated with your company? How much? Do you pull your credit report regularly? How frequently? Do you have any business loans? If yes, how much? Do you take credit cards for payment? This is not, the reason why this one's highlighted is, for some of you that are on the phone, some of these questions are highlighted because I just want to make sure that I explain them well enough. The reason this one is highlighted is because I want to tell you guys that we're not advocating using credit cards or not using credit cards. That's not the point of this question. It's just whether or not you do, because they are an expense to your company. There's a percentage that you're paying, so it's for that reason. How do you handle billing? See, there's a big section here, right? So make sure you tell us exactly how you handle billing, because how you handle your accounts receivables really, really is going to make a big impact on the cash flow of your company and how stuff runs. So we need to know that. And you need to know that too. A lot of times writing it down, how you handle billing, you'll notice the gaps. Remember we talked earlier about recognizing the gaps. Sometimes writing it down and seeing, you're like, oh, right there's a gap. No wonder I'm having this problem. No wonder so-and-so keeps not paying me on time. Sometimes you can find that just by writing it down. Now, do you donate any of your services? Do you barter any of your services? We need to know this, because that's basically giving away your service. We're not saying anything against it. We have no problem with it, but we need to know about it, right? It's number stuff. It matters. You need to know, too. If you're doing it, how much are you doing? Especially if you are, well, actually, either one of these. I wanted to say especially if you do one or the other, but they're both equally important. If you're donating your service, you need to know how much. And best to think in terms of percentages. How much of the money that you're bringing in is going out are you donating? Same thing with bartering. You need to know how much so that you can make sure that that number stays in alignment. It doesn't get out of whack. Part of writing it down again, remember, is so that you can watch these numbers and check them. Watch them later. Make sure that they don't get out of whack. What are your slow months? What are your busy months? Do you understand and use your income statement? This is your P&L, the profit and loss in QuickBooks. Doesn't matter if you don't. Fine, but you probably that would probably be good information for you to have, that you need to be understanding and using it. It's going to be helpful to you. So if you don't, no problem. Just write on there no. For all of our Jumpstart members, you will please need to attach a copy of your most recent report. So these are some of the areas that we're going to need, because we're going to be working with you to help you understand this stuff and make sure that you're looking at the right stuff. Same thing with your balance sheet. Same thing with your cash flow report. If you know how to work with them, great. Give us some insight into what you see. And if you don't, great again. That's more information for you, opportunity. Do you have a budget that you use? If you do, great. Tell us about it. If you don't, that's fine too. Tell us why you don't, if you don't on purpose. Do you know what your break-even number is? Yes or no? Do you enjoy working with your numbers? We want to know if you like working with your numbers. Some people love their numbers. It is fun for them. Other people can't stand it. What are you? How do you fall on that? How do you pay yourself? Tell us the amount. And also tell us, do you pay yourself as an employee, when you pay, do you get a monthly draw? Give us whatever details you can. Remember, again, this whole area will expand to fit whatever you want to put in there. If you are not turning it into us, fill this in, because this is great information for you and anybody that will potentially need this information from you, your bookkeeper, etc. Another thing that I didn't mention, you guys, is for all of you that could potentially be in a bind at any point in time, let's say you are injured and someone has to take over for your company, your spouse, your child, your operations manager, whoever. Having this information is going to be very, very helpful too. How often do you skip paying yourself? Have you had to skip paying yourself? Maybe you haven't had to do it in a long time. Maybe you did only in the beginning. Maybe you're still in the beginning, you're still skipping. Nothing to feel bad about. Get it on there, though. We want to get that fixed, and so do you. You want to get that fixed, right? Part 3 is the people. How many technicians do you have? What language do they speak? If you have people speaking multiple languages, let us know about that. You need to know about that, too. Are you going to change that? Are you going to keep it the same? Information for you. Opportunity again. What size teams do you train and schedule? If you have solo trains going out, great, let us know that. If you have size 4 or 5, if they change, whatever the information is, let us know. How do you pay? Straight way, salary, commission, wage and commission, salary and commission, lots of options, and there's other options as well. Tell us how you pay. Somebody that I know was paying under the table the last time that I talked to her. Great, get that on there. If that's how you're paying, we need to know. You need to know too. Is that your plan? Is that what you're continuing to do? Do you have a company car? Or do you have company cars? Not a company car, but maybe you only have one. But do you have them? If you do, write it down. If not, do you pay mileage to people that drive their own cars? Maybe you don't have cars. So maybe it says here, do you have company cars? No, but all your people take the bus. If that's the truth, write it in here. Let us know your situation. What's your turnover rate? So the turnover rate that I'm talking about here is, the reason it's highlighted is we want to know how often you turn over your employee base, how often that you're having to hire and retrain and get new people on board. It's going to be really helpful to us, and you need to know this number so that you know how expensive it is to train, how much of a time commitment it is to train, when you need to hire. Your turnover rate tells you a lot of great information. Paid holidays, do you have them or not? Paid vacation? How about other benefits? If you do, what are they? Tell us about your other benefits, your vacation, your holiday. Also, tell us about these things in detail. Tell us about your best employee. If you don't have any employees, leave this part blank. But if you do have one, tell us about your best employee. This is going to tell both of us, you and us, 2 things. What is it that you value in an employee, and do you have it or not? Right? So for yourself, it's going to be helpful for you when you're looking to hire. What is your best employee? Writing it down helps you get some clarity on what it is that makes a good employee. Sometimes we think just because someone cleans well that they are a good employee. But when you actually write it down, sometimes your best employee might not even be your best cleaner. So write this stuff down. I don't know what that is for you, but you have to write it down. Oops. Sorry about that, folks. What is your worst employee? Same thing, same idea. What are your uniforms like? Do you have them? Do you not have them? Are you looking to get more, different ones? Do they bleach out too much? Do you love them, hate them? Just tell them about us. Tell us about them. How about your hiring practices? How do you do it? Do you advertise? Do you advertise on a regular basis? Where do you do it? Your orientation process, same thing. Your training process, firing practices. We want all of this stuff, as much detail as you can give us. Firing practices, what what you fire for is what I'm looking for here, but along with everything else. What types of things are on your list of things to let someone go for? I heard of someone that fired somebody for wearing slippers to work on the first day of work, or she wanted to fire somebody for that. She didn't, but she wanted to. So do you have very, very strict dress code requirements? Is that something that you're fired for? Great. Get it on there. Let us know what it is. Attendance. What's your attendance policy? And the reason that was highlighted is because a lot of times people don't really even know what we mean by this. I want to know what your attendance policy is. Do you have one? If you don't have one, what are the parameters that you're using? How are you making these decisions about when people come to work and when they don't, how they get time off, all of those types of things? So fill that stuff in. For yourself, the reason why you want to put this down is I can guarantee you've had some attendance problems at some point in time if you've been in this business for at least a year. If you haven't, write down what your attendance policy is going to be right off the bat, and maybe you can forestall some of those problems that you hear about from every other business owner. Once you tackle this problem, a lot of your other problems just sort of dissolve. What's your company structure? How is your company set up? What are the job positions in your company? This is another area where we'd like you to send us your org chart. If you don't have one, that's okay. Just write in here that you don't have one, but if you do have one, send it over to us so that we have an idea of what you're looking at. And you need to fill them out for yourself. If you don't have an org chart, get one. We're going to recommend that you get yourself an org chart. Even if you're in every single position, that's okay. Oh, and I'm sorry. Org chart is just short for organization chart. I tend to shorten things sometimes. I apologize if I do that too much. So get that org chart filled in. Even if you're putting your name in every single little box, that's okay. At least you have a place for your company to grow. What's it growing into? Company culture. What's it like in your company? Tell us about it. Part 4, marketing and sales. Do you know your unique selling position or proposition? Do you know what it is that makes you special? Fill it in. If you don't know what it is, just write, I don't know. Or I need help. Whatever it is, if you're turning it into us, make sure that you tell us anywhere that you need help. What forms of advertising do you do? Tell us about them. What forms of advertising gives you your best ROI? Tell us about that. How about your second best? How about your third best? What's your main marketing message, your USP? This information, you guys, is going to help if you take the time to write all of this stuff out. Now, let's say that you're not a part of our Jumpstart program and you're using this assessment for yourself. Take the time that it takes to answer these questions. If you say, I don't know on this stuff, make sure that you come back here and answer these questions. These are the questions that are going to help you grow your business to the level you want it to be. You have to have answers to these questions to be able to make it grow. Who are your target markets? Oh, and additionally, actually, if you don't know the answers to some of these questions, like maybe you don't even know what the questions mean. Maybe you don't understand what is a target market. So you can always ask us about these questions, of course. If you are part of the Jumpstart program, you'll be part of actually the Jumpstart program, the Facebook group, so that we can answer all of these questions for you also. But if you don't, go online. Go maybe hit up LinkedIn. There's quite a few sites on there. There's some groups on Facebook that you can join. Get yourself a mentor. Find out what these questions mean, because you have to have the answers to them. If you don't know what some of the questions mean, that needs to be the first thing that you do. Remember when I said we were going to tell you where to start? That's where you start. You start with, what don't I know? What don't I even understand? Start there. Next part, do you do in-home consultations and sales? How about over the phone or online? What do you do? Let us know. Figure it out yourself. Also, what percentage do you do? So let's say, like in my case, I do all 3 of these. I would fill in what percentage I do of these 3 different types. You should do the same. You might want to be changing. You might be looking for how you're going to modify it. For example, I didn't used to do online consultations. So I would have had a 0 there, but now I do. So it would be helpful for me to know how much I'm doing and where I'm transitioning to. And when I start tracking my online consultations, where are they coming from? Are more people transitioning from my phone consultations to online, or are they transitioning from my in-home to online? Without tracking these numbers, you don't know that, so you got to do that. What are your conversion rates for these things? Leads per week, how many do you get? Leads to quote, and how about quote to sale? Do you know these numbers? If you don't, get them. If you don't know and you're part of the Jumpstart program, go ahead and write in here that you don't know, and we'll help you figure out how to get those. Do you have or use sales scripts? Have you claimed your Angie's List listing? What is your rating? How about Yelp? What's your rating there? How about your Facebook business page? How many likes do you have, and how many stars and reviews do you have on Facebook? Some of you don't know what that is. Find out. It's important. Do you have a marketing budget? If you do, how much is it? Tell us about it. Tell us how it works. If your marketing budget changes by the month, that's fine too. Maybe you have slow months, busy months. Go ahead and fill that in. Do you have a marketing plan for the year? Let us know about it. Tell us all about it. We want to hear about it. What's the size of your company in square miles, population, number of residences? What is the area that you service? Tell us about it in any way you can. Tell us about it, whatever you know about it. Who are your top 3 competitors and why? If you don't know this, you need to. You need to get this information, not just to give it to us if you're part of the program, but because you need to have it. You need to know who they are. How can you be effective in your market if you don't know who you're competing against? Let's say that you're one of those people out there that says, I have no competitors. My company is better than everybody else's, and I'm not competing with them. But is that true? Because are they competing with you? You need to know that. Sometimes we like to think that we're setting ourselves apart and that we don't have any competitors. But if other people are competing with you, you have competitors. Who are they? Find out. Get that answer. You need to know that so that you can fix that. You can make sure that you're on top of that heat. Who manages your website SEO? What guerrilla marketing tools do you use? Maybe you don't use any. If you don't, right, I don't use any. If you do, tell us what they are. Part 5, operations. You'd think I was going to get hoarse by now. It's a lot of talking, I told you. Tell us about your training program. We want to know about it. Tell us everything you can about it. Safety program. All of this I'm going to be going through really, really quickly because we just want to know about your program. And if you are not part of the Jumpstart program, then make sure that you fill this stuff in for yourself for all of the reasons I've been saying all along. Training program, safety program, what's your quality assurance or your inspection program? If you have both, great. Tell us about both of them. Employee motivation program, performance incentive program. What do you do to incentivize your employees? How about your financial program, scheduling program, products and equipment, your service offerings? On to strategy, business strategy. All right, tell us about your mission statement. What is it? If you don't have one yet, write that. I don't have one yet, but then understand you need to get one, same as everything else. Core values, what are they? If you don't have them, get them. Vision for your company, tell us about it. Your specific goals for your company. What is your long-term plan? What is your biggest pain in the patootie? What's the thing that drives you crazy? What do you do very, very well? Do not skip over this question. This is one of those questions that I find a lot of people don't want to delve into. You need to. Whatever you do very, very well, you need to keep doing that. Don't hand that off. You're going to be having to hand off a lot of the work that you do to grow your company. Don't hand this stuff off. So make sure that you have a really, really good list of what you do very, very well. What do you want help with? What do you need help with? Even if you don't want it, what do you actually know that you need help with, but it drives you crazy and you don't even really want help, but you know you need it? What do you like doing? Tell us about that. What one change do you think will make the biggest impact on your company? What is that thing? There's got to be something that you know if you did this one thing, it would really make all the difference in the world. Write that down. The last thing, because it is also the first thing that you want to work on if you understand every single thing on the rest of the assessment. Okay, let me get back on track over here. looks like I got myself off track somehow. I have two different screens working. So now we're going to go to the screen, which is where I stopped off. If you are a member of our Foundation Jumpstart program and you graduate, these are some of the things that you're going to get. Because after all, that's what I want to talk about. I want to tell you what you're going to get. That's the benefit, right? You can build your dream business using a proven step-by-step business growth strategy. You can raise your rates with confidence using our price increase strategy. If you have trouble raising rates, not if you graduated from Foundations. You won't. It'll be easy. Not only will it be easy, you'll like it. It'll work. You can get a complete collection of fully customizable resources that you're actually going to use, not stuff that just sits in a binder on a shelf somewhere. You've all been to conventions. You all have loads of that stuff. This is why this program is different. It's not stuff that just sits somewhere that you don't actually get to. I'm going to talk a little bit about why it's different and how we make that happen. But for right now, know that that happens. You're going to identify the business objectives that are most important to you and set action-oriented goals for meeting those objectives. I'm not going to read every single one of these things on the slide because we still have so many things to get to. But another one that I do want to point out is that as a Foundations graduate, you do realize the peace of mind that comes with success, freedom, and financial security. I mean, stop running like a hamster in a wheel. You got to get out of that wheel. That's part of what the program is really all about, is making sure that you don't just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing and you don't look back a year from now and think to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm in the same boat. When is it ever going to change? If you will change, it will all change. If you don't change, it won't change either. It's not going to change on its own. You're going to have to make the change yourself. And I see that I am in the wrong version again. All righty. So, curriculum. This is the curriculum. These are the major topics that we deal with: business strategy, employee life cycle, sales procedure, cleaning procedure, operations, and marketing. We do it all in these areas. I mean, it's not all listed here. We have it listed for you in other places, but basically you're going to have these areas are going to be strong. That's our goal, is to create a strong foundation for your business, something that you can build a strong company on. Most of the time what we see is people that have taken a little bit from here, a little bit from there, something from this people. They've learned this one thing. They've tried this one thing. They've tried so many different things that nothing really works together. It doesn't gel together. It's not made to work together. You can't just buy little pieces here, pieces there, and they don't work together. Having one set foundation to build everything on makes the whole structure stronger. Curriculum, some more pieces. You do get some resource notebooks. They are, it's a little bit more than these two. This is a partial picture here I see. We deal with strategy and planning, human resources, personnel, marketing and sales, operations and service delivery, the financial management, performance measurement, big piece for a lot of people, administration and customer experience. A lot of people think they don't need that, but yes you do. All right, I want to talk specifically about the Jumpstart program. It's a year-long program, but the first 6 months are dedicated to evaluations and assessments. This is the beginning part for the Jumpstart group. Excuse me. This first assessment that you just saw is the very first thing, getting that dealt with. Next, you need to know, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm having a little throat issue here. Again, the purpose is to know where you're going. You need to know your starting point, 6 training classes to assess yourself, and you want to learn how to measure your business and develop your key business measures. It's a $2,500 value if you were to go out and purchase it independently, and all of the time that goes into helping you with that. I love this slide. Failure to implement equals the #1 reason that any business investment fails. You all know this is true. It's the reason why it doesn't work is not because you're not trying. It's not because you don't know the stuff. It's not because you don't want to, but it's the failure to implement. It just doesn't get done. that's what the Jumpstart program is all about. I haven't quite got to the really exciting part yet. I'm almost there, though. And if you are making a commitment to building your dream business, guess what? We will too. That is what we do in this program. We commit ourselves fully to you for this year. It's a big commitment on our part as well. Here we go. This is it, the Jumpstart, the game changer. This is the piece that makes everything else come into line. 55 hours of classes and workshops. This is a week-long experience in Charleston at Castle Keepers. For those of you that have never been to Tom's Place, Castle Keepers in Charleston, you heard me mention before that it's 10,000 square feet of building, along with, I don't know how many cars, 35 cars that he has, something like that, some crazy number of cars. And all of the different areas, all of the operations, how do things actually work in a large company? What do you want to grow into? 55 hours of classes and workshops. We are going to be doing the work on site. You'll notice it's 55 hours. It's not 40 hours because you are going to be working like a dog. You're going to be working hard the whole time. When you leave, you're going to have over 20 complete tasks. And, oh, I missed that slide. Don't worry, that slide's coming again. The Charleston Experience bonuses, a couple of things you're going to be getting there that most people never really think about, but at a huge expense. Not here, not at this event. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner are included. Monday through Friday, we are paying for all your meals, so you are not going to have that additional expense. The other biggie is your lodging. We have a beach house, and you all stay in a beach house while you are here. And you're not going to be there very long because you're going to be with us at least 55 hours doing a lot of work. But when you get home, guess what? Back to your room, you are going to be doing non-stop networking. Because what do you think is going to happen after you've been spending hours and hours and hours working on all of this stuff? You're going to go back to your room and you're just going to say, oh, let's just go hang out at the beach. Well, maybe. You might just go hang out at the beach, but what are you going to be talking about while you're walking on the beach? You're going to be talking about all of the stuff that you've learned in the Jumpstart program. You're going to be figuring out more ways to implement. And you're not just going to be talking, which is the key. You won't just be talking about it, you'll be doing it. Anything that you decide on the beach on Tuesday night is getting implemented on Wednesday. This is like a golden opportunity for the people that actually have the time and the energy to put in. And a big chunk of time. It's going to actually be a lot of work. All right, you're going to go home with a responsibility grid, defining the roles and responsibilities of everyone in your organization, a cleaning procedure manual, refined and practice sales process, a prospect lead nurture process. Try not to read all of this for the benefit of the poor people that have to read it all, but try to read enough of it for y'all that are on the phone. So prospect lead nurture processes for quote requests, quotes not books, some advanced KPI calculator, hiring packet, including your job descriptions and more, practice in the best ways to discipline and terminate employees, 3 internal work process designs, and we have some examples for you there. You're also going to get a bill rate calculator and your ideal bill rate. A lot of people don't even know what this is. And how to use it. A customized plan to get customer feedback and reviews and testimonials. Scripts and procedures for dealing with difficult situations. Complete consumer profiles for target marketing. 1 complete AdWords campaign set up with the keywords and geographies. I know a lot of you are thinking they can't possibly do that. Oh, yes, we can. We have a plan. And a 2015 annual plan drafted and customized to your goals. You're going to go home with that plan ready to go. 2015 SEO calendar with clear actions for improving and maintaining a high website search rank. For any of you that have tried to work on your SEO, you know how valuable this is, that you're going to go home with this. A 2015 marketing plan with weekly and monthly campaigns designed to hit your benchmarks throughout the year. You hear that? Weekly campaigns and monthly campaigns. That is going to be a crazy, amazing marketing plan. And your action plan, an implementation plan is what we're calling it here. We want to make sure that you have weekly activities to get all of this stuff done. So what does that mean? 6 more months of ongoing support. That's right, because you're not going to be able to get it all done in that week. We're going to get a lot done. You know how it is when you sit down and you've had those days where you're just in the zone and you spend like 4 entire hours and you just work nonstop and you come out of it and you're like, wow, I got so much work done. It felt so good. Well, imagine if you had 55 hours and other people helping you and do everything at the same time. It's going to be amazing. But the 6 more months is going to help you get everything in place, because you're not going to be able to do everything in the 55 hours. There's just no way. So we are going to have accountability partners for you, like buddies. We're thinking of like a buddy system based on your DISC assessments, which we'll be doing at the next webinar. So the reason why we're doing that is we want to make sure that your accountability partner is somebody that is well matched to you and that you are well matched to them, so that everybody is getting the right kind of help, not just having a buddy that then dies off after 2 months, but somebody that is matched to you, that gives you what you need and you are able to give them what they need as well. 6 months of accountability calls with us. Of course, we're going to help keep you on track and help you figure out where you are and how to move forward. And membership in the private Facebook group. That group is very active. Very, very active group, those people. Some bonuses. You will get the HiPEP role play videos. This is $693. For those of you that don't know what the role play videos are, the HiPEP program is a program that I created. And it is a high-performing employee program. So this is for those of you that have employees. When you have employees, probably one of the biggest challenges. Remember, employees are your largest expense in this industry, so you have to know how to work with them. If you don't, you're going to struggle. The role play videos tell you as the leader or your leadership team how, they don't tell you, they show you how to do all of the things that you need to do to create a great company. The dating engagement videos are created and designed toward your technicians. They're lower key, they're more, they're less professional looking because they are designed to look directly, to talk directly to your technicians. A team building program, this is basically like the games and all of the fun stuff that you do to give to your employees so that they want to work there and they think it's a fun place to work. The 12-pack of that is all the old programs, the Team Builders programs as well. Made Money Starter Kit, this is a Made Money program. Well, you can go to our website and look at this and see what it is. It's a motivational program. Target Marketing Toolkit, easy way to get you up and going quickly. A core value deck of cards to help you determine what your core values are. Professional House Cleaning Technician's Manual, the Modern Cleaning Book, and a Foundations Class shirt. Another $1,977 in value there. Are you worried about payments? Sign up today for the smallest monthly payment plan available. Anyone that signs up today will get the cheapest plan. Anybody that signs up even a month later will end up spending, I think it's like an extra $500 per week or something like that. You're the only company in your market with this unique advantage to jumpstart 2015 and create the successful company that you really, really, really want, of course. Take advantage of the increased time to complete all the assessment work. If you don't sign up until later, you're going to miss out on a lot of the valuable assessments that you have an opportunity to get. This is the schedule. I'm not going to go over it all. You'll be receiving it, but we're really, really running out of time here. August 7th, 21st, September 18th. So the assessments and gives you the whole entire year-long schedule. Total program value, 6 months of evaluations and assessments is $2,500. Week-long intensive experience for $9,000. The Charleston Experience bonuses, $7,000 in value. Foundations notebook and resources, $4,500 in value. 6 more months of ongoing support for $2,500. Program bonuses for $1,977.90. Total value is $27,477.90, but the program's only $6,500. It's an amazing deal. You're not going to get a deal like this again. It's just these kinds of deals don't come along all the time. For $6,500, this is how the program the payment program works. Full payment plan, $500, and there's a 10% prepayment discount if you sign up now, today, with the full payment plan. Standard payment plan is $500 deposit. You pay over time. And then the extended payment plan is $500 deposit again, and you have a longer term to pay, but everybody has to have their $3,000 to buy the Jumpstart experience in Charleston to be part of that. If you're looking to register, write down these numbers. You'll also be receiving them after the call. 843-569-4416. You'll talk to Cece, and she will help you register. Mail at cleaningbusinessbuilders.com is another way. You know what, we don't have it on here, but if you'd like to talk to me directly about your unique situation and whether or not, you know, sometimes it's helpful to figure out if you're right for the program. Maybe you're not sure if you're right for the program and you want to get some insight, feel free to email me and ask me. My email is americanmade@comcast.net, and I'll personally talk with you about whether or not you're a good fit. Formal registration, and along with that, and the reason why I'm saying that is not everybody is. Not everybody is a good fit. We sometimes have to not let some people in, just because they're not ready. So if you are, great. If you're not, it's good to know. Formal registration includes signing the terms and conditions, providing a credit or a debit card information for automatic billing. I'm going to open it up for some questions and answers, but I do want to just go through some of these slides here and show you all of the different things that you are getting in this program. It is over 2,000 pages in our manual. It is, I think, over 15, maybe 20 pages here of stuff, additional things, benefit options, smoking, drugs, alcohol, office procedures, safety, all of the different safety things, and other employee policies, client relations, client training tools. I'm going through really quickly, I'm sorry, but we're out of time. Work loading, production planning, real and target marketing, Google AdWords, social media. All right, I know we're out of time. So, Cece, do we have any time for Q&A? Are they going to cut us off? Or are we already gone and I'm talking to myself?
You are welcome to take questions as long as you want, Liz.
Okay, thanks, Cece. I'm sorry, everybody, for having to speed through there. I just always forget how much information this is and how much stuff.
Okay.
How can I help y'all? Who has a question? Nobody has any questions? I'm so amazed. So that is a long assessment that I gave you. Does everybody really feel like they're amazing?
Well,
hello?
Hi, my name is Michelle Carr, and I just wanted you to know, I personally have no questions because following the assessment, I was able to do it on the PC. It was very clear what's expected of me. Maybe as I sit with it and get to question for question, I may have one or two, but at this moment, I completely understand the first assignment. And
sounds good. And you're in the Jumpstart program. You're in the Jumpstart program, right, Michelle? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Great. So you know exactly. And then you will definitely contact us if you have any questions. It sounds like you're good to go. I love that. That's going to make it easy. Good to hear your voice, Michelle.
At this moment, I feel that I am. Thank you, Liz. It's good to talk to you too. It is just it's great. Some of the questions are scary, and it's scary because there's a lot of I don't knows, and I will be honest in putting I don't know.
Good for you. That's the only way you're going to get past I don't know.
Right, and so some of it feels quite daunting, and some of it feels embarrassing that I'm going to write, I don't know, but that is my truth, and that's okay.
That's right. And we all have that stuff, too. So you don't have to feel bad about it. It's just the truth. That's all it is. Good for you. Well, good. Looking forward to seeing your survey come through. I think we want to have that by the end of the month if you can get that to us, Michelle.
I will.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody else have any questions? Anybody have any questions about the Jumpstart program? well, I'm going to use Derek's line, and I'm going to just feel good about I did an excellent job here because nobody has any questions. Derek always says that, and I think, yeah, did he really do that good of a job? I'm taking his line because I'm feeling like I must have done okay. All righty. Well, Cece, it looks like nobody has any questions for us today. Looks like we're done until our next webinar.
That's fantastic. Yeah, the next one's coming up on the 21st, 2 weeks from today. And everybody who's on the call or who registered, for that matter, will get an email, and you will have the download link for the assessment. You'll have a link to register for the